Vincent, thank you for your time and welcome to the Cornea Impression.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this brand new showroom.
You're most welcome.
What can customers expect from this showroom? What's unique about it? What's interesting about it?
I think what's unique is that what we've tried to create here is a showroom that is a lot more transparent and open than some of the showrooms that you normally see, but most importantly that there is a seamless link between your digital journey that most people now start at home, as you know.
Right.
So when people buy cars now, more than 80% have already orientated themselves digitally.
Correct.
And some people even buy digital already now today.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
And
very
for our
interesting.
brands, and including Toyota, we have already a full end-to-end e-commerce solution.
Okay.
And today we sell a number of cars per month already fully digital, so without actually visiting the showroom. But for those people that want to visit the showroom, what we want to make sure is that that digital journey is continuous almost seamlessly.
Right.
So what you see here is a number of digital tools. For instance, at the cars you see the stands.
Right.
At the when you interact with our associates, with the sales executives, then you can continue that journey actually with them at the desk.
Right.
And we have some dedicated configurator rooms where you can sit in your own private space and on a big screen, configure your car. Also have a look at some videos about the product.
That's very interesting because I see a lot of times customers bring a code with them from home.
Yes.
And you can just bring in the code seamlessly and continue
the journey.
speccing your car,
Yeah.
building it up to your liking. Yes. And obviously the Land Cruiser is one of the most popular cars in the region. So that journey is very important for the customer because for them it's just not buying a car, it's bringing something home to the family.
Exactly.
So that journey is beautiful to get that into the showroom and integrate it. Yeah. Bringing up something that you said earlier about people buying it online. When they buy cars online,
yes,
how does it impact the showroom? Because then you're taking away from the showroom space.
You're not taking away from the showroom because at the end of the day, it's maybe the sale in the showroom doesn't happen, but at the end of the day, it's the same brand that's selling the car. Also, the customer will be linked to one of the showrooms or one of the sites.
Right.
Because for after sales, you will go somewhere. Now, that's a customer choice.
Right.
So if the customer says, I would like to have that connection with Shakeside Road,
right,
that's fine.
Okay.
If they want to do it at DFC or in Deira,
right,
that's a choice. But so the customer will be linked to one of our sites, of course, according to their choice.
Right.
So that we can take care of them also when during the ownership of the vehicle.
What about test drives?
Test drives continue, so you can either ask for a test drive and we deliver the car at home and you can do the test drive, or we hook you up with the showroom and then the test drive will be arranged there. So that's no different. It's just we offer the opportunity to also do it at home.
Okay, so you get the car to the customer, save their time at their convenience, and they don't have to come randomly and ask for cars, which is an inconvenient process any which ways.
Yes.
So bringing that to the audience, to the customer, is what Futtaim plans to do with their new showroom. Coming to cars, how have sales been for the first half of the year?
Sales are actually, if you look at the demand itself for cars in the UAE, it's not bad because it's definitely up versus last year.
Right.
I think the latest figures show that the first half is about 8% above the same period last year.
Okay.
It is still below 2019, which was the last pre-COVID year.
Right.
But after 5 months, I think, after May, what we saw was that in total, the industry was about 5% below 19, which is not much, so it's catching up.
Which is okay.
But if you look at passenger cars, so not excluding trucks and buses, it's actually still down 12%.
Which is a big number.
Which is a big number. So for private customers and so on, the demand is still a bit lower than the pre-COVID period. What is the problem now is that every manufacturer, including us, have constraints in terms of supply, because of the global issues. Whether it's the chips in the cars or it's the Ukraine war. Unfortunately, there's a lot of disruption.
Yes.
China closing for COVID again in Shanghai, that disrupts the supply chain. So if we were able to supply all the cars that we have orders for, actually the market would be even better.
So it goes up than what was in 2019?
Well, I think it'll at least be, if we look at our visits, the number of visits we get, it's more than in 2019.
Right.
About 4% more. Okay. So you see that the market has recovered in that sense from a demand point of view. The problem is the supply for all manufacturers is at the moment a bit difficult, so there's still gaps.
How long do you think this would go on?
Nobody knows. The only thing we can say is that, and it really depends on the product. It's not the same for all the products. So the more technologically advanced the product, there are more issues because there are more components in it that are affected by the supply chain. And depending also on where the car comes from, so the production source. But in general, nobody knows. And if you look in global news, nobody dares to make a prediction. Most people say it'll take another year at least before it normalizes. Yeah.
So obviously supply is a problem at the moment. Demand is there. We're having a lot of people talking about inflation happening and markets becoming softer. That means demand going down. Do you see that affecting the UAE in any format? Because globally, that's what's being spoken about right now at the moment.
Well, inflation is happening everywhere globally. If you look at the UAE, the petrol prices are a good example. I think everybody's talking about it every day. But even if you look at appliances, for instance, for refrigerators are a lot more expensive than they were a few months ago.
Right.
So also cars are going up in price.
Right.
It's mainly driven by a number of things. One is the raw material prices have increased, and you can look at the commodities like even steel and so on has gone up. Freight has gone up dramatically for all industries, and that's driving, of course, when the cars come from Japan or from Thailand, it will increase the cost. And then you've got the effects depending on the source of the product. Things like currency fluctuations, yeah, because that's also again affected mainly by the things like the Ukraine war. There's a lot of things happening that are affecting economies in those markets. So the combination of that drives the cost up of the product. What we are trying to do is to keep that for the customer at least, competitive as we can keep it. We also look at our competitors in the market because that's the way it works.
Yes.
But there is a level of inflation, but it's not to the same level as you see on many other commodities.
Right.
Because we try to control it.
Which is good. So, assuming prices stay stable for the next few months, you're also seeing the demand stay the same, not go up too much, not go down too much.
Yeah. But we have not seen the demand being affected by that inflation until now. So, because of COVID, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of lag still in terms of the people that intended to buy a car at the time.
Right.
Now that it starts to normalize, the demand is still there.
Right.
And for businesses, you see that the catch-up already started earlier. So a lot of businesses postponed their investments during COVID. Yeah. Now that the business is coming back everywhere, you see that these companies start replenishing their vehicle parks. Correct. So the demand is not so much affected at the moment by that inflation.
We saw the Toyota Light Ace last week, and that was a brilliant product. I think it's perfectly suited for a market like ours. Something small, something budget, something easy on the pocket for new businesses and old businesses.
Fuel efficient.
Fuel efficient, very important. And it does the job as the bigger cars. So I think it's a perfect time to launch something like that in this market. So a good move on that.
Thank you.
Talking about products, any GR products, any performance products coming in this year?
I don't know what I can say about products, but what we are definitely going to invest a lot more in what is the Toyota GR range.
Right.
Not just in products, but also in terms of animating the motorsports activities.
Right. Okay.
So we are now the main sponsor of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, which is one of the World Rally Championship courses. And also the Dubai Baya is a spin-off of that. So we are the main sponsor now as Toyota for that event. And linked to that, we will very soon announce some very nice initiatives which go back to the grassroots of people wanting to maybe becoming racing drivers. So that's just a hint of what will come, but that's what we're working on now. So we will be talking a lot more about motorsports and sports cars in the context of Toyota, because it is an exciting brand in that sense. Products like the Land Cruiser, there's already a GR version of that.
There's a GR version, yes.
But to answer your question, we will bring another sports car very soon to add to the range. And I think you know which one that is, because it's one of the heritage products of... so that car I think that car will come back to the GC, but also back to the UAE.
Okay, nice. So happy to have that back here. Toyota Crown.
Yes.
Any idea if it's coming here?
To be very honest, I don't know yet. At this moment, our product teams are in Japan to look at products.
Okay.
So, because the Crown is very important in Japan, as you know, it is almost a brand within a brand.
Right.
They have developed a new range of products.
Right.
And we are looking at how that could fit, not the range maybe, but some of the product within the context of the UAE. But of course, you need to look at the fit of it in terms of the usage, and also powertrain and so on, because it needs to be matching the UAE requirements.
Correct.
So I can't tell you about that yet because I don't know yet. But as soon as we know, we'll let you know.
So maybe we are having some interesting cars coming in from Toyota this year. So stay tuned and watch out that space. Moving on to sustainability, any sustainable cars coming in? Hydrogen fuel cell, you'll have the Mirai, but any other products coming in?
Well, Toyota has started a couple of years ago in concentrating on hybrid here in the UAE, as you know.
Right.
And I think we're probably number one in terms of number of hybrid cars on the road by far. And within every segment now, you can have a hybrid almost for Toyota. And we will continue that because we see that hybrids and plug-in hybrids are, especially now with the fuel prices going up, we've seen the interest in those products go up.
Right.
So that's one thing. So we continue with that. Toyota is also developing other powertrains. You mentioned the hydrogen, which is the Mirai in our case, but also they're also working on an EV range.
Okay.
Again, I cannot tell you what's coming exactly because that has not been decided yet in detail. We're talking about that. The Mirai, the car is. We have one car here, physically here. It was used for the expo, and it all depends on being able to fuel the car.
Absolutely.
So we can bring the Mirai, but if there's no way to fuel the car,
no infrastructure.
So we are working with a number of partners to look at how that development will happen. So both in Abu Dhabi and here, we're talking to people to see how we can work together as a company in establishing that. But I don't think you'll see many hydrogen cars on the road in the short term. I don't think so. EV, however, is growing very fast, and there as Futtaim, we have decided to launch already some brands. With EV. One is Polestar. Volvo already have. Volvo also have EVs, 2 EVs now. But again, there the infrastructure is very important. So again, as Futtaim being one of the leaders in terms of automotive market share, we've said is we need to also look at that and work with partners to make sure the charging infrastructure is established and accelerated faster. So we're working on that as well as a project. And then when Toyota comes with EVs, we will have a head start compared to some other people. But the experience we're already gathering now in terms of EV with the other brands that we've got.
Because EV right now is always focused on a more expensive segment in the market, and filtering it down to the masses is where it actually becomes usable by most people.
Although if you look at the usage of an EV, yes, today when you enter a market like the UAE, you probably start with a more exclusive product as a market entrance. But those brands have got cars available that are also volume cars, because in Europe, go to Europe and you can see the penetration is growing very fast. Those cars will come here. And they're actually, if you look at the economics, especially with the fuel prices, the way they're going, actually these cars are more efficient.
Definitely.
As long as you have charging available. So they are more efficient. And the hybrids definitely. I mean, the reason why all the taxi companies in the UAE use our hybrids is because they are significantly more efficient than the equivalent petrol car. So I think the point has been proven that hybrids and definitely also EVs are more economical, but you need to have everything surrounding it. And now I think that the big changes happened now is if the fuel prices are higher than they used to be, which might be the case, we don't know of course, but then I think that will accelerate the request or the demand for hybrids and then for EVs as well.
Definitely. I've driven the Volvo XC60 plug-in hybrid. And I'm driving the Volvo C40 EV tomorrow, the recharge.
Well, you let me know how it goes.
Definitely,
it's really nice.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming on board.